Not the best. What's up, Caps fans? Yes, that was not a good game for our Washington Capitals, so let's not try to sugarcoat it. Honestly, I'm not even going to bother going through the goals and shit here because there's not much of value to really dissect there, right, from this game. It just was not a good night by the Caps. It's as simple as that. It happens. But there are a few things that we can talk about. I will start with the officiating and specifically the lack of power plays for the Washington Capitals. Because in 2 of the last 3 games here, against the Kings in Los Angeles and now against the Golden Knights in Vegas, the Caps have had 0 power plays in both of those games. So there's 2 ways to look at this, right? The first is that the Caps are not doing enough right now to draw penalty calls, which is probably true. That's probably part of it. But at the same time, it's going to be mighty hard to sell any NHL fan on the notion that there's 2 out of 3 games where an NHL team did not commit a single penalty, especially with the way that the game is called nowadays. I mean, it's not as if the whistles weren't working out there, right? Because the Caps kept getting called for a bunch of love taps. And especially in the case of the Golden Knights, that is a team that commits a ton of penalties. So it's a pretty hard sell to try and say that they did not commit any over 60 minutes. The second thing that I want to talk about, Darcy Kuemper. He wasn't bad in this game. I mean, for once, at least there weren't any goals where you're whew, that was really bad. I mean, maybe the one where Jack Eichel took the puck behind the net and Kuemper completely lost track of it. That one was a little bit stinky. But in general, the goals were not as bad as usual for Darcy Kuemper, so that's a good thing. But was he above average, or are his best nights at this point just average at best? Would you like him to make at least one of those saves? I sure would. He just never seems to make the big save when you need it, right? I mean, it's all fine and good to make the saves that you should make, but a lot of NHL starters are making a lot of saves that they shouldn't make too. And Darcy Kuemper, he doesn't really do that. I mean, just as an example, I don't know that I have ever seen this man make a save on a breakaway in 2 seasons with us now. When I saw the Knights player, I believe it was Jack Eichel, going on the breakaway in this game, I'm like, do I need anything from the kitchen? Because now's the time. Now's the time. You aren't going to miss anything if you already know exactly what's going to happen. Yep, Eichel scored. 2-0 Knights. At least I have comfort food. Or odd man rushes too. He doesn't really make saves on odd man rushes either. And other NHL starting goaltenders do. They do that. When you give up a breakaway or an odd man rush against, yes, that is the fault of the defense first and foremost. But guess what? If you watch other good teams around the league, they all do that, okay? They do. They all do that. They all give up some odd man rushes against. They all give up some breakaways. It's just that you don't very often see that on the goal highlight reel after the game because their goalies are making the saves. NHL starting goaltenders are allowed to save breakaways, believe it or not. And the Caps have a guy who does save breakaways in Charlie Lindgren, but he was unavailable to play tonight, unfortunately, due to an illness. So let's just make sure that Chucky's playing most of these games here moving forward. Wrap him in bubble wrap if you have to, and we should be fine. The other thing I wanted to talk about, Evgeny Kuznetsov. Brace yourselves here, folks. Not to be dramatic, but he is the worst player on this team right now, maybe in the world. Okay, maybe not in the world. I mean, Ryan Reeves does still exist. But the point is, Evgeny Kuznetsov has been very, very bad for a very, very long time now, and there's no sign of it getting any better. He's a turnover machine. He gets completely caved in at 5-on-5, completely caved in. He hurts the numbers, both analytically and on the actual score sheet of everyone he's playing with. No matter which line you put him on right now, he makes that line significantly worse. He can't win a face-off. He's been useless on the power play. That's 5 fingers right there. I mean, what more do you really want from your first line center, right? The dude's got to go at this point. I'm sorry. It hurts me to say it. The dude has got to go. And that is where I'm going to leave off on this one for today. That should be controversial enough. We will hope to have a better game to talk about in Arizona on Monday. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button down below and click on that subscribe button as well if you haven't already done so. You know what? I am curious to hear the thoughts of you fine folks on some of these topics, on some of these players, Darcy Kuemper, Evgeny Kuznetsov, everything that we talked about today, everything that's been going on. Curious to know what some of you fine folks think. So drop us a comment and let us know what you think. And until next time, babes, and as always, even after a loss, let's go Caps.